Hello and welcome. Happy New Year's Eve. I am happy to see you guys all as we ring out 2025. This is the last show of the year, pretty much literally, because it is the last evening of the year. And it is a very special episode of This Week of the Movies. It's more like This Week on the Couch. I've been doing a lot of my best of 2025. I did a lot of different genres for films. Eric and I also did our top films of the year, but today it is time to turn the page to TV. So, ending these 2025 best of series of videos with my favorite TV series of 2025. A couple of things before we start the top 10. I will go 10 to 1 in order. I will give you a few honorable mentions, but before we get to that, I am a purist. So a TV show cannot qualify for my year-end list unless it completes and I have seen all the episodes by the time the year ends. That means a show like Landman that will end in early 2026 would be a 2026 consideration for me. Even though I do enjoy it, and I think there's a chance it would have made my kind of top 20-ish. Stranger Things, bad beat for it. It goes live with the finale in about an hour. But I wasn't going to wait till midnight to do my best shows of the year episode. If I would have done it tomorrow, maybe Stranger Things makes it in, but it feels like recency bias. I have really enjoyed this fifth season. It definitely feels like it's tracking to have at least been in my honorable mentions, but it will not be included because I have not seen it. It has not completed. So now that we've gotten some of those things out of the way, I'm going to start by giving a few honorable mentions. These are shows that I liked that didn't quite make the top 10. Beast in Me from some of the creators behind Homeland, an interesting series on Netflix, premiered late in the year. I thought it was a pretty solid limited series. Murder in a Small Town, the second season, it did complete. It is a show that really just runs over the fall on Fox. It is probably, one of my favorite network shows, which feels a little bit weird to say. Kind of a small show that came out of nowhere that I just thoroughly enjoyed. Star Trek Strange New World Season 3, a lot of confusion because they renewed it for 2 more seasons that have not come out yet, but talked about it being the final season, and they're filming that final season, even though Season 4 has not yet aired. So a lot of people are very confused, but I thought Season 3 was solid. I really enjoy the show. Maybe not as high of highs as we had that first season, but it remains a solid watch. A trio of shows that had a solid second season. Nobody Wants This Season 2. Thought it picked up the comedy. Was very solid. Maybe not the highs of the first season. Peacemaker Season 2. If you would have told me Peacemaker would make even an honorable mentions list for my favorite series of the year, I would have told you were smoking something. But the second season really got to me. I thought it stepped up the quality and the storytelling. There was a lot more depth of emotion, and you know what? It was a heck of a streaming watch. And then Platonic Season 2. This is just a really fun hang with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne on Apple TV. Speaking of Seth Rogen, another show in my honorable mentions that's by him and starring him is The Studio on Apple TV. I thought it had a banger first season. I watched the whole thing pretty much in one day. Had a lot of fun with it. Apple churning out some good ones. I also enjoyed the limited series Smoke on Apple TV from Dennis Lahan. Definitely one of the stranger shows I watched during the year, and I was recapping it for one of the sites, so it's pretty heavily invested, but a lot of fun. And then a couple of shows, my last 2 honorable mentions, kind of tied together from the extended Harry Bosch universe from the Michael Connelly novels. First is Bosch Legacy Season 3, the third and final season of the Bosch Legacy spin-off show of the original Bosch, which gives 10 seasons in total of Titus Welliver playing this character, Harry Bosch. And then a spin-off of that, Ballard, Detective Renee Ballard, Season 1, which also was on Prime Video. Ballard going forward. Titus Welliver going to continue supposedly playing Harry Bosch in another Michael Connelly property, this time on Netflix, The Lincoln Lawyer. So I'm going to be curious to see that in the new season, but I've always loved Bosch. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know that the original was one of my favorite series of all time. So A very solid third season for Bosch Legacy. I had a lot of fun with that one. So without any further ado, let's jump into the top 10. I'm going to go 10 to 1. And number 10 for me, Department Q on Netflix. This one came from creator Scott Frank, based on some book series. Matthew Good as a British detective living in Scotland, kind of a motley crew, a very different kind of detective story, very different kind of crisp writing. I just really enjoyed it. It was one that I enjoyed the heck out of going all the way through, and makes my list. Netflix had a good year for film. As you're going to see as we go through this list, they had a pretty good year, a pretty banger year for TV as well. But no list of banger TV would be complete without some entries from Apple TV. I think they've been doing excellent work. Number 9 for me is Pluribus. This is the most recently wrapped up series. This one did complete on Christmas Eve. It was tracking to probably be in there. I was waiting to see how it would end. Ray Seahorn, great Vince Gilligan, created something that feels completely unique and very compelling week to week. If you looked at my episodes of the year piece, number 7, episode 7, just got to me emotionally, ended up being one of my favorites of the year. Number 8, going back to the Netflix well, and that is The Diplomat. Look, this show goes under the radar quite a bit, but I really enjoy Kerry Russell in the lead here. I like the writing. I like the crazy story. This season having Bradley Whitford and Allison Janney added to the mix. Rufus Sewell does a great job. They have a great cast. They have some fun and crazy stories. It has good, crisp writing and pace. I just enjoy it. It is not a flashy show. It certainly doesn't feel like it's ever gotten the headlines, but this third season was top notch. I look forward to it coming back every year. Number 7, Andor season 2. This is another one. I mentioned Peacemaker. I never would have fathomed it landing on my honorable mentions or any best of the year list. I thought the first season of Andor was just okay. In fact, I thought it was a little dry at times. Wasn't really my bag. I do love Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, is one of the best Star Wars movies. I was curious to see where they would go with Andor season 2. And I thought it was a really emotional and really gripping and engaging journey. I did not watch it when it was coming out. I kind of saved it, and I was on a cruise during the summer. I begrudgingly, I'm like, well, we're getting ready to do a mid-year list. I guess I should binge through this, just to check the box off. And I was blown away by what I saw. I liked it quite a bit. And so it ends up on the list. I think when paired with season 1, it is quite an achievement and quite something different. Not what we have seen from some of these Star Wars stories. The acting was top notch. There were some real emotional beats, some depth of storytelling, so it made it on there. Going back to Netflix for number 6, and it is Adolescence, this limited series, a 4-episode journey, all single shots, tracking this crime and the impact that it has on this family and all the people around the sphere. It is emotionally devastating. It is incredibly well crafted. It was haunting. For a long time, it was up a little bit higher. A few shows have come out, and I've bumped it down a little bit, but it was incredible. If you have not seen it, that is a great quick New Year's binge. As I said, only 4 episodes, you can get through it. It is not an easy watch, but it is very stirring. Number 5 for me, and this starts a good run for HBO and HBO Max, and it is The Rehearsal, season 2. I enjoyed season 1. It was something offbeat and different. I resonate with Nathan Fielder's approach to storytelling and some of his humor. Season 2 reached completely new heights. It was some of the craziest stuff I had ever seen, and it delivered a finale that was nothing short of amazing and poignant. His method and his effort and what he puts in to doing this is amazing. I thought the series was amazing. It is streaming on HBO Max. It is well worth checking out. Keeping with HBO, but swinging to the fall, number 4 for me is Task. This was a 2-hander. a great kind of crime drama. It was sold a little bit as, Heat in South Philly. I don't know if that ever totally came to fruition, but I loved Mark Ruffalo in the lead here. I love the deep, resonant themes. I honestly would be satisfied if it was a limited series and that was all we got. They are bringing it back for a second season. Sometimes that gives me a little bit of misgivings. There are some shows that maybe we should be content to let them breathe. But by the same token, I loved the storytelling so much, and Mark Ruffalo is just so good in that lead. I am curious to see where it can go next. Tom Pelphrey, very good there as well. Just an amazing cast, very resonant episodes. Coming into the top three, I have a couple of returning shows in here that some people were down on their most recent seasons, but I don't know what show you were watching. It wasn't the one I was watching. And number 3, Apple TV is back. And it is Severance season 2. We had to wait a long time for this one. Very tricky show. Very tricky barriers to climb. It was a different season. I don't know if every swing completely worked, but I thought it was pretty amazing. And there were a lot of deeply emotional moments. There were some bottle episodes and some locational shots that were excellent. Woe's Hollow, if you read my episodes of the year column, what they did with the craft and the location and everything they poured into that was simply stunning. So it ends up on my list. Another one that, people seem to have been a little down on, I certainly wasn't, and that is The Bear season 4. I will say I'm a little down on it continuing because I thought the finale of this episode, titled Goodbye, would have been one of the most chef's kiss of a series finale of all time. It is a beautiful, thought-provoking, deeply emotional episode. The entire season was full of a lot of emotional episodes. And you know what? There are going to be flaws in the storytelling of all the shows that we like. The ones we stick with are the ones where we make that deeply felt emotional connection. I've had that deeply felt emotional connection for these characters, and that has carried to season 3 and 4, which I know people have been mixed on. I thought they were beautiful. I thought they have had some incredible cinematic and emotional moments. And The Bear, a show that I love. If it would have ended, it would have ended perfectly. I don't know where they're going to go. But I'm going to be there along for the ride because they have earned my loyalty and my trust. Number 1, and it's been in the pole position since it dropped all the way last January. Its second season actually debuts in 9 days, and I couldn't be more excited, and that is The Pitt on HBO Max. I love Noah Wyle. I love ER. ER is a show that for a long time I told people I had watched it for more of my life than I had not watched it. I started watching it when I was a teen and I watched its entire 15 season run. It is a masterpiece, one of my favorite shows of all time. This show is not a carbon copy, but it is another medical drama that makes great use of Wyle in the lead. Catherine Lanassa as the charge nurse, beautiful here. There are so many great performances. Taylor Dearden, I deeply adored in her role as well. The emotions. It was such an emotional roller coaster, but in the best possible way. We kicked off 2025 with The Pitt, and it remains the best of the TV series I saw from last year. So in the pole position. And fortunately, we don't have to wait long. It is back on January 8th, and I can't wait to see what it does next. Well, I hope you guys have a happy and safe New Year's Eve. That's a look at some of my favorite shows of the year as we bring 2025 to a close. Stranger Things may not have gotten its due on this because it hasn't completed, but if you want to hear all of my thoughts about season 5, Eric and I will be back on Friday morning debriefing the final season of Stranger Things. I will be back tomorrow, first show of 2026, looking at a couple of new movies that came out at the end of December and a couple that are opening this week as we keep on rolling. It is a holiday weekend, a lot of stuff going on, but I want to say thank you to everyone who has supported and watched us. I hope you have a healthy and happy 2026. Happy New Year's and great TV watching.